Welcome to KQEG and 7 Number Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, into wellness, and into fitness. Well, this week we're catching up with two former Logan standout student athletes and just recently graduating from St. Olaf University. My guests today, Alex Harris and Laura Kammer. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I've been following your career, by the way, when you left Logan, but before we get into your career at St. Olaf, let's kind of go back down memory lane. I watched you compete at Logan. I knew you as students there also, but you got involved, Alex, when you were a lot younger than when you were in high school.
Yeah, my parents pushed me. I'm a big ski racer, so my parents pushed me into skiing kind of just to have a good time throughout the winters at the age of 3. And I honestly hated it to begin with. Like, they would have to pull me out. My dad mainly pulled me out to the hill every weekend. And then eventually I started to like it more and more. And then saw the ski team, and the rest is history. I fell in love with the ski team and was hooked since. Wow. At the age of like 5.
I mean, your dad did a great job of introducing you to the sport, because as we're going to learn, I mean, you climbed the ladder to incredible success, and that's one of the reasons you're on the show. But Laura, you, I remember watching you when you were younger too, and you dabbled in many sports.
Yeah, I did a lot. I mainly focused on dance throughout growing up, and I also ran track all 4 years of high school. I transitioning to college, I was going to focus on dance solely, and then after one semester I decided that I really missed running and competing, so I actually switched to track in college.
Well, when you were in high school, though, I mean, I remember you were a dancer.
Yeah. And
that was your first love.
Yeah, definitely.
And did you think that maybe that would take you to the promised land? I
was expecting, I guess, a little more from Olaf as far as dance go, but I made some special connections here, and that didn't get to come with me to college, but I'm happy I made those.
But you had the ability, and you made the commitment to maybe even be a professional dancer.
Yeah. I don't know. I found a different love. I guess I missed everything that track brought me. I got more competitive and fell in love with lifting too, so all of that kind of just went together.
You had many chances when you graduated, you know, as I didn't. Financially, I had no choice but to go to UWL, which ended up good, and the same thing with my wife. But you had an opportunity to go to a lot of different schools. Alex, and I'm sure when you look at the sort of the centerpiece and the hub of skiing, you could go way east, or you could go into the Colorado area and become a college skier.
Yeah, so I settled on Olaf because I wasn't quite sold on the idea of skiing NCAA, and I don't think I was going to really be able to make it all the way out there. So Olaf allowed me to, 1, go to an awesome school, very accredited, and then 2, be able to continue pursuing my passion of skiing at the USCSA level. So it's kind of a more club level, but it's been growing throughout my years with ex-World Cup skiers and such that we all compete with at nationals.
Alpine ski racing. Well, by the way, you said you explored soccer and a little bit of tennis when you were younger, but you've found your true passion with skiing. And you were most valuable player 2019. And I see, which is really stood out to me, a scholar athlete, 2018 through 2020.
Yeah, it's I chose Olaf. I was really focused on having a school that would allow me to continue pursuing academics and having a future for myself and be able to find a good job. So adding school and sports was very important to me, and being able to focus on something outside of school to kind of take my mind off of everything was very important, and Olaf allowed me to do that with skiing.
Laura, I watched you compete at the NBC Championships, and I know your dad was the coach, and you were an excellent high school athlete. By the way, was that difficult with Coach Kammer being the dad and the head coach?
It was, a little difficult. You have, sometimes he's a coach, sometimes he's a father. So sometimes, I just wanted my dad to be at track meets, but it was only a coach. But either way, he was there fully supporting me. So.
Well, he has a passion for that, and it rubbed off on you. I mean, you could
Definitely.
see the way he works with his athletes when I watch practice or go to a meet or even just talk to him about his the excitement, even though he's, winding down in his career, maybe the next couple of years, and he still has not lost the passion or the excitement for his student athletes.
Yeah, that's completely true. He will even drive up to Northfield to watch track meets, and he'll still coach me a little bit there when he can, so the passion's always there for him.
Well, throughout, when you were a dancer, when you were young in high school, and now through your years in college, family has always been a big part of your success.
The family has always been a big part. I remember growing up watching my siblings playing like travel soccer and stuff, and that was back when I was only dancing. So just having them, they were a big influence on me getting into athletics in general, and have supported me throughout.
Yeah, and I know you talked before we went on the air. You talked about your twin brother being one of your supporters, and I remember him as an athlete. But your parents too have dedicated a lot of their time to your success.
Absolutely. My dad was probably the one that really continued to push me into skiing, taking me to races all around the country throughout my middle school, elementary school, and high school years. And without him, I don't think it would have ever been possible.
Well, Alex talked about his academics and so on, but academics are a big part of what you were at Logan, Laura, and at St. Olaf. You graduated in econ and finance, and obviously that was a commitment. And to balance those difficult classes and be an excellent athlete, being involved, was that a challenge?
It can definitely be a challenge for some, but if you have good time management, you definitely figure it out. I love managing time and being organized, so just being able to look at a day and set out, certain times for studying, knowing that you have to go to practice from like 3 to 6 p.m. and knowing that it might be a late night, but just being able to plan ahead and look at your schedule really helps.
Were there some times when it was a struggle to balance everything?
Definitely, there definitely were. There were plenty of late night and early morning combinations that kept both of us up, but just planning ahead really personally helped me.
Your profile, Laura, was very impressive. The last event that you competed in, indoor, February 27th, I noticed that you did well in the Wartburg event in March, and then all of a sudden the pandemic takes everything away. So your last season, which you were counting on in the outdoor, did not materialize. That must have been highly emotional for you.
It's very tough. I had one of my best seasons so far, or I had one of my best seasons with indoor track this year, and I've been gradually getting better the last few years, so I was super excited to see what this last season could bring me. I had quite a few goals set. We had some trips planned with the team for April, and all that being taken away was very, very tough. But
what impressed me too is on February 21st, you were first in the 60-meter hurdles in their invitational. Was that or one of the most defining moments in your college career?
That definitely was. It was a big step for me. I think it was like 800ths off of breaking the school record with that race, which is why I went to that Wartburg race in March, but not all the puzzle pieces fit together that day, but that's okay. But yeah, I got a lifetime PR that day, so very happy with that.
Well, I looked at Alex, I looked at your profile, All-American in slalom, and you had more defining moments than we have time for on this show. I mean, just share some of those with our viewers.
So Nationals is obviously the biggest race of the year for skiing, and throughout the last 4 years, my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, I've always set this goal to get a top 15, to at least get a second-team All-American. And I've always come up short, either getting two in my head or crashing out each run, because like skiing, you're always trying to ride the edge. But I was finally able to put together basically my perfect race this past senior year, and come out with actually fulfilling my goals, like the last race, last chance I ever got, and I was really happy with that.
So you're saying when you look back at your career, you have a level of deep satisfaction. You accomplished everything you wanted.
I wish I could have obviously gotten a podium at Nationals, but being able to succeed in achieving a top 15 at Nationals with some of the highest competition I've ever seen. We had Robbie Kelly, who's an ex-US ski team racer who was racing World Cups. He was at the race, and being able to be just a few seconds off of him to be in the top 15 was like, I was on top of the world that day.
Laura, you talked about a defining moment, PR, in a meet in February, March, and when you look back at even though there's perhaps a level of emptiness in not finishing the spring outdoor season, are you at peace with what you accomplished?
I am. I came very, very far in my 4 years. I dropped nearly 2 seconds in the 100-meter hurdles from freshman year to junior year alone, and I dropped a full second between sophomore year and junior year, and then junior and senior year for the 60-meter hurdles. So just being able to set goals for each season and fulfill those is definitely, yeah, feels good.
I can see in your body language that you feel good about both of you, what you've accomplished. But there's more, and we're going to divulge some of that and talk about that in the second half of the show. So we're going to take a quick break, and we come back more here on Seven River Sports.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to Seven River Sports, a special interview this week. Alex Harris, Laura Kammer, just graduated St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. I did a little research on St. Olaf. Of course, I've been there many times officiating basketball. A liberal arts college, 3,000 students in Northfield, kind of a tiny Norwegian community.
Yeah.
Beautiful community. Mm-hmm. I look at some of these communities with these private liberal arts schools. Luther College, a tiny, beautiful campus. Northfield, very similar liberal arts school, 3,000 students, about an 80% graduation rate, high expectations. All of us, when we move to different chapters in our life, we in our journey, we change it all. We grow. We should be growing. I looked at some of the things that is expected of St. Olaf students, and their mission statement talks a little bit about excellence, meaning achieving the best you're capable of achieving. Address that, Alex.
I guess talking about change, in high school I was always very focused on skiing, and I was obviously a good student, but I never really pursued fully pursued that academic goals of 4.0 GPA or very good grades. And then I got to Olaf, and I could feel like when I got there, everybody was always very focused on goals academically, despite whether they're an athlete or in choir or in orchestra. And I think that really helped me change my perspective on school, and I really appreciated that because it allowed me to be a student and learn all that I did throughout college while also being able to pursue my goals of athletics.
In the book of Proverbs, it talks about several things in terms of improving your life, and one of the things is iron sharpens iron, and that means that you are who you associate with. Mm-hmm. If you associate with people that have higher standards, that you're around people that strive for excellence, you become that person.
Absolutely, and I don't think that could be any more true while attending Olaf. The atmosphere there, everybody wants to succeed in whatever they're doing, and it's truly amazing.
Another component of their mission statement, Laura, is justice. Now, justice is sort of an ambiguous word, but it means being a just community. What does just mean? It's education for the common good. That says it pretty well. Is that something that you have sort of adapted to your mission statement?
Definitely. I mean, being at a liberal arts college in general, they push you to take all sorts of classes, so you have a general understanding of everything, as opposed to like me only being focused in economics. But I've taken my fair share of science courses, religion courses, philosophy, all of that, and I think that really helps out with being a just person.
Community is a component of the mission statement at Olaf. Community meaning civility, mutual respect, cooperation, concern for others.
I think that is most epitomized with their requirement for all students to be living on the campus all 4 years. They only let about 150 seniors of the total 3,000 student body live off campus every year. So having a huge majority of the total class be on campus, living with each other, going to dinner every day, breakfast every day, and having to share all these community spaces, it definitely creates a total kind of, you have to have an equilibrium of what people do and don't do.
I was not aware of that. But
Yeah.
I like that expectation, that requirement. I think that that enhances your journey, as you've indicated. Service, a component of, should be most schools, particularly a school with a Christian component to it. That means authentic leadership, expressing yourself in ways to serve others. That's what service is. How did you do that and display that at St. Olaf?
Me personally, I took a bigger step in the last few years, especially to be a bigger leader on our team in general. I was never a captain, but I was definitely looked up upon as being one of the older athletes. And with that, I think it's just important that being a leader like that, you help teach others the importance of service and community and all of the things that we're talking about right now.
And finally, faith. Faith doesn't necessarily mean spirituality, doesn't mean necessarily going to church all the time. Faith and religious and spirituality is a big part of what St. Olaf and a lot of colleges talk about in a learning style, expressing yourself as a complete Division III student athlete.
Yeah, I think it's not so much totally focused. It's a Lutheran college, but it's not totally focused on kind of going to church every day. It's more kind of understanding where people are seeing themselves, like on different topics or their different backgrounds, and kind of having a whole understanding of what your class is going through, or kind of different viewpoints. Is very important to the college.
It sounds like, just prefacing the question I ask sometimes, how if you could change the world, and you were magically change the world in a way that you think would be better for all of us, you would take a lot of those components from that school and use them to change this world?
I guess so. I think it's kind of, there's an understanding that there's no one simple fix, and you're going to have to probably make compromises here and there, but you want to be able to take into account what everybody is thinking and each person's background.
This journey has made a big difference in you too, Laura. What is Laura going to do with the rest of her life, and how are you going to use the things that you have learned to maybe improve the lives of others?
It's a big question. Literally speaking, I will be going on to KPMG up in the cities, and I guess the goal of mine is to become a better leader in general, and I'm going to use all of these components from the mission statement to do that, and everything I've learned from just being a leader on the team and everything, just all the growth I've made in the last 4 years, and I plan to apply that with my growth in general.
Significant growth, and you're going to be a success too. I think something tells me that Alex Harris is going to be a success too in his career. What is that going to be?
This past year I was the captain of my team, and with entering that position I was honestly very scared. I'm not very comfortable with speaking in front of people and telling people what to do, but it was a really eye-opening experience overall. Having to set expectations for a team and having that weight to make sure your team is pursuing the same goal of success was a lot. But being able to manage people manage schedules, making sure we're always getting on to practice on time, traveling safely, traveling through snowstorms together as a pack, and getting to races well rested, and making sure that we obviously are there to succeed was a big thing of mine. And coming out at the end of this year, I think we tied for 4th in a field at nationals of 20 teams that are all more located in mountainous areas. I think it was very important to me. So building those leadership skills is definitely something I want to continue pursuing.
Something tells me that this could be a strength or a weakness. Something tells me that you're hard on yourself. You're developing confidence, like all of us hopefully, but you're hard on yourself. And there's a saying that goes like this: I've met the enemy, and the enemy is me. Meaning that you could be your worst enemy or your best friend, depending on how you approach things.
Absolutely. I think that's true with most athletes too. Like, if you're gonna fail, it's almost always, like, you could probably blame it on your equipment, your teammates, but oftentimes it's something that you probably could have done differently or didn't do. And I think, especially with skiing, we had a team-based sport, but it's all based off of individual performances. So you're ultimately up to your results. So whether you succeed or not is completely entirely up to you. So
where is Alex Harris going to be next year?
I will be heading to Best Buy corporate. So I'm very happy and fortunate to come out of school like Laura with a job.
Yeah. Well, I would think that most schools that like yours, like St. Olaf, have a high rate of getting a good job right out of school. And is that located in the Twin Cities? Or?
Correct.
So you're both going to be in the Minneapolis area. Mm-hmm. So all of us have role models when we grew up. You talked about your dad, your family, and so on. But you have another interesting role model that I wasn't even sure about your role model, Michaela, but now I am because I did a little research on it. Share that with us.
Yeah, Michaela Schifrin, she's on the U.S. ski team, Olympian. She's one of the most dominant athletes I've ever seen. Nearly every race, whether it's a World Cup, World Championships, Olympics, you always have that sense that she's in control of the field that she's in, and that she's going to be able to come out on top. And
then I looked at Laura's profile a little bit in preparation for the show, and she had a role model. I know all of us have many role models, including family, as I said, but you have a role model that happened to be somebody that inspired you at St. Olaf.
Yeah, Mackenzie Shustra is my role model and also teammate. She runs track with me ran track with me at Olaf and plays soccer there as well. And she's just a very impressive athlete in general. She had a very successful high school career for track, and ever since the first day I met her, I knew that she was like my inspiration. She's very strong and competitive in a good way, and just super friendly, and yeah.
A couple rapid fire questions as we close the show. What is something maybe our viewers don't know about you, Laura?
Something that people don't know about me is I'm interested in getting to CrossFit as competition now that college sports are over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about favorite saying?
My favorite saying,
John Gordon, I think.
Yeah, I think John Gordon, about positivity.
Yeah. Exactly. He's a famous author.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of his things.
I don't have it memorized.
Well, it's okay, but it's positivity.
It's, yeah, about putting positivity out and how it will come back to you.
What don't we know about Alex Harris?
I guess I think, again, it can apply to many athletes. Until this past year, even through this past year, performance anxiety, I think, is something that a lot of athletes struggle. And throughout my entire career, I don't think I ever overcame that. Having to stand at the top of a hill, knowing that I had to hurl myself down a mountain was always scary, but just got to make sure you trust in your practices, your skills, your teammates, your coaching, and all that.
You might be surprised to learn famous athletes that fall into that category. If you Googled it and read about people that struggle with performance anxieties that are world-class athletes, and they still struggle with it to this day. Favorite saying, favorite quote?
Fake it till you make it. I think we've all been put into situations where you're like, I have no idea what to do, and the best thing you can do is just deal with it and make it your own, see where it comes out.
One of benefits of being the host of the show is I get to meet people that inspire me, and Alex Harris and Laura Kammer, you have done that this week here on Seven Rivers Sports.
Well, thank you.
for having us.
All right. Well, it's been a great show. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with some closing comments right after this.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. Next week, a special interview with 2 tremendous student athletes from Central High School, just graduating, Emma Scott and Julia Gasper, on their way to St. Thomas University as student athletes. Well, that's it this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you are staying safe and healthy, and like me, hoping you get your life back in the weeks and months ahead.